welcome to Flavors of Africa. I'm Doris Ufwebune.
And I'm Kevin Ufwebune. Now, for the past little while, we've been taking you to various African countries.
Yes,
we've been enjoying a lot of delicious dishes.
Yes.
As well as taking in a bit of culture at the same time. And it's been great so far, you know.
It has been. Remember when we went to Liberia? It was awesome.
Yes.
So where are we going today?
Well, since Flavors of Africa is all about diversity and multiculturalism, I thought what a better place to start than our own homeland, Canada.
Canada,
yes.
Exactly. I love that.
Exactly.
Because there's so many things in Canada that we want to bring to the world,
exactly.
Right?
And I mean, the main thing that I really love as being a Canadian is the multiculturalism that I can experience on a daily basis.
Yes.
Which kind of brings color to my own life. Now, for the viewers out there, I know that there are other people watching that are outside of the Calgary region. I just want to give a brief history about our beautiful country.
Yes.
So Ottawa is the nation's capital and it's located in Ontario. Now that's one of 10 provinces in Canada. We also have 3 northern territories. As well, we're ruled under a conservative government by Stephen Harper. We're also a constitutional monarchy, and Queen Elizabeth II is actually the head of state.
Exactly.
Yes, and she has her representatives.
Yes, and we used to live in Ottawa.
That's true.
It's
and
a
that's
beautiful
where
city.
Yes, exactly. And you know, one thing that I really loved about Ottawa, now that you bring it up actually, is I love food.
Yeah, I do. Well, tell me about it. It's one of the reasons we are doing this show, to explore other countries,
exactly.
Right?
But, well, talking about exploring countries, you know, Ottawa had this beautiful little Italy. It was established in 1900.
Yes.
Very, very old, but very, very beautiful. And I could just go down there and just experience culture for myself and get a taste of Italy. And my favorite dishes are pasta when it comes to international dishes. And I just love it.
I remember when you were telling me about the biscotti.
Yes,
yeah, it's Italian
you know,
pastry. Yeah,
I love their dishes.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And speaking of Italy,
yes.
we're making lasagna today.
Perfect.
And it's going to be so delicious.
Yes.
We have all our ingredients lined up for you today. We have the spices. We have the African basil. So it's Italian dish. However, we're going to give it an African twist.
Well, because we're Flavors of Africa.
Exactly. So we have every ingredient. We have the Parmesan cheese. We have the cottage cheese. We have our ground beef, the mushroom. Speaking of mushroom, some people, when they do their mushroom, they use a damp cloth to clean it. In my own case, when I do it, I like to wash it. So if
you might want to wash it at home.
Exactly. So if you feel like you don't want to wash it, you want to use the damp cloth, you can do it. However, I like to wash it. So either way, it's not a problem, no wahala. So I have the Parmesan cheese. I'm just going to put it a little bit in the cottage cheese.
So how much cottage cheese?
It doesn't matter. You know, it depends on what your taste is. So in Italy, they usually use ricotta. Ricotta is a little creamy. So here, I'm going to use cottage cheese. I've used cottage cheese for the longest time, and it gives it a very good taste. So like I say, whatever you feel like you like to use in your lasagna, whether it's cottage cheese or ricotta, please go ahead and use it. So we're going to turn on our stove. And once again, I want to tell you that when we cook lasagna, we don't use oil. I personally don't use oil because the beef has oil, and as we go along, you will see what I'm talking about.
So I guess the more healthy that we can keep it, the more you're going to enjoy it at home.
Exactly.
It's going to be much better for you.
It's going to be tasty. So it's being rinsed. So I'm just going to add it to the pot. Maybe
that looks like something I can stir.
Yeah, do the onion. See, I'm going to lower the stove a little bit. So we're going to keep on cooking it. Whichever one, you can use that or you can use the spoon. It doesn't matter.
So far, I'm doing a good job.
You're doing a great job. So we're going to cook down the beef for, say, about 8 minutes. So at this point, once it's cooked down, we will drain the oil. And then that's when we start adding ingredients bit by bit. So maybe we can use the spoon because it's, when it heats up, we can use the...
Perfect. Do you want me to take over?
Yes, please.
Perfect.
So lasagna, I've always enjoyed lasagna. I guess I started cooking lasagna 2 years after I came here, but I will tell you that it was all learning process for me because I never made lasagna in Nigeria.
And who would have shown you?
Exactly. So, you know, my husband and I visited a friend, a family friend, and they made this wonderful lasagna. It was so good. But I was so shy to ask for the recipe. Yeah, so I went home and I started learning how to make lasagna, but it didn't turn out right. But after so many trials, I became perfect, you know, so that's what I'm bringing to you today, to try the lasagna and see that it's so easy to make.
So was that your first time having lasagna?
That was my first time, you know, 2 years after I came here, you know, and it was so delicious. I love it because of the cheese, the Parmesan cheese and the mozzarella.
I just think it's funny because when you finally learned how to make it, you made it wonderful.
Exactly.
And it turned out to be a delicious meal. I remember during cultural parties that it was one of the favorites of many of the children. And then when you were taking off, when you're moving away, they were saying, "What happens to the lasagna lady?"
Yeah, lasagna lady.
And you were known by the specialty dish.
Yeah, it was interesting. You know, when you cook and children love it, you know you've done a great job.
The children are picky.
Exactly, they're very picky. You know, they're picky eaters. So just let's see what it's doing. So right now we are just cooking it down, and it's changing color. Like I said, it takes about 8-10 minutes to cook down the ground beef.
So when it's brown, that's when I'm happy with it.
Exactly. So once it's brown, you know, just let's keep on cooking it. Right. And I'm going to introduce the next ingredients that we're going to use here.
Those are the veggies?
Yes, the vegetables. So we have the onions, we have the chopped tomatoes, the green pepper, red pepper. Once again, some people use canned plum tomatoes. I prefer to use fresh, like everything fresh, because in African cooking, we use everything fresh. So going with our African theme, I'm using fresh chopped tomatoes.
Sounds great.
However, if you like to use the canned tomatoes, please go ahead and use it. No wahala. All right, so how is it doing?
Well, it's turning brown already, so I know I'm doing a good job.
Yeah, you are doing a good job.
Seems pretty easy so far.
Okay, so once this is hot, we transfer to the other spoon. But so far, so good.
Perfect.
It's looking good. Okay, so I don't want to take you away from your work, so you keep doing that. I'm just gonna leave it there. We can take from there. But you know, I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt to it.
You know, and speaking of Italy and Italians in Canada, we have some notable Italians that that are Canadian Italians here.
Yes, yes.
So we have Michael Bublé. Have you heard of Michael Bublé?
Yes, of course I have.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite singers, actually.
Yes,
so he's a Canadian Italian.
He's a good singer.
And then we have Rick Campanelli, who's an entertainment personality, and I've watched him since I was a child. So
awesome.
We have a very rich background in Canada. People coming from many
walks
countries.
Of life. Yeah, exactly. So now, what we're going to do is just drain it a little bit, if I can excuse myself a little bit. So now the ground beef is brown. So we're going to remove the excess oil. Remember, you know what? I'm just going to get a better container. Okay, excuse me here.
So put that to the side.
Yeah, thank you. So we're going to just drain the oil.
So while we're cooking it, just in between. And then
exactly. So now, at this point, we're gonna go ahead. I show you a trick. See, this is the one we've made before.
Yes.
And this is the fat.
So that's what happens when you drain it.
Even though we didn't use oil, it still has fat. So we don't want to put that in our food.
Because you want it healthy and delicious.
Exactly.
You want it healthy and delicious.
All right. So the next ingredient we're putting is the onions, chopped onions. I will continue mixing it.
Does it matter which vegetable we put first?
Yes, at this point, it's better to put the onions first.
Okay.
You know, then other ingredients you can
I'm guessing because it gives off it's onions, it gives off
aroma.
Aroma.
Yeah, it has good aroma because whenever you add onions to something, it gives
Yes.
it aroma. Even when I do plantain,
Oh, yeah.
I put a little bit of onions because, you know, it gives a good aroma. So keep on cooking it. So the next ingredient we're going to put is the tomato, chopped tomato. Remember how I said that it's better to use fresh. However, if you like to use the canned tomatoes, please go ahead and use it. So this we're going to cook down for maybe about 10 minutes. So once we cook it down, then we start adding all the ingredients. All right. And then the next ingredient will, oh, this is the joy of television. Okay, it's 10 minutes. So we are going to add the mushrooms. Can you smell the aroma? Oh.
I smelled it once you put the onions in.
Please continue mixing. While you are mixing that, I'm going to just show our audience the pasta. I just have a few pastas here, and we're going to boil it. It takes about 10-15 minutes to boil it, depending on your stove. All right, so I'm just, if you will excuse me here, certainly. I'm just going to add it to the pot. We're just boiling a few because, you know what, we're not going to, like, use it all.
Just to show you that it's kind of simple.
Exactly,
You're just
we don't want to waste it.
You'd boil macaroni or spaghetti.
Exactly, so please continue mixing.
Perfect.
And then the next ingredient.
Look how that looks.
Doesn't it look awesome? The next ingredient is the green pepper and the red pepper.
Now I'm wondering,
all chopped.
Do we have to use all these vegetables?
Do we have?
Or can we leave out tomatoes? Does it affect it? Can we?
No, it's good to use tomato because it gives it nice color.
Okay.
You know, you want it to be like a sauce.
Yes.
So that's why you use tomato. So I show you a little trick. When you mix, you need to go all the way down because you don't want it to burn at the bottom, and hold it here because it's not hot. Okay.
So now you brought up the fact that tomatoes are essential in this dish.
Yes.
So, and I remember from our previous dishes when we cooked those delicious African meals that the tomato sort of gave off its own texture, its own
taste. And again,
so that's why it's important.
Yeah, because last time we didn't use sugar.
Yes.
Because most of the time in some dishes they use sugar because the tomato is very acidic. But in African cooking, we don't use sugar. We just cook it down. And once it's cooked down, you know, it tastes better, it looks better. So that's what we're going to do. No sugar, all right? So here we have some spices. We have the African basil. I just, I saw this in my pantry. I thought I had run out because every summer I will plant them. But this year I was gone throughout the summer. So I didn't have enough time to do some gardening.
So is this accessible for everybody else at home, the basil?
Yes, yeah, the basil, like in summer you can get it. So, so I'm gonna add the Italian spices, okay, which is very important.
Of course.
And then the thyme. So that's basically what we're putting in there. And then, now that we've added all our ingredients, a tiny bit of cayenne pepper, you know, just to give it a zest, a little bit of zest.
Now, I'm wondering, am I allowed to include other spices that I might be interested in, like cinnamon? I was asking about cinnamon.
Cinnamon, I know you like cinnamon. However, it doesn't call for cinnamon. Okay. But you know what? If you like cinnamon, hey, go ahead and do it.
So there is flexibility in this dish.
Exactly. So this is pureed tomato.
We're going to mix that.
So that will give it the sauce, the color. So mix it up, please. Right. And then we will cook it down for 20 minutes. So we're going to pretend that 20 minutes has elapsed. And then we add a little bit of water just to make the sauce. Excuse me, here. Again, when you add the water, just gauge it a little bit, about half cup of water, or even less, depending on the size of your sauce. Exactly. Can I just borrow this spoon? Thank you. So while this is cooking, I'm going to show our audience a finished product. This has been cooking for quite some time, and you can see it. So this is what it looks like
lovely.
when it's cooked down. See the difference? This
Yes.
is not cooked down yet. So when it cooks
and
down,
it just blends together.
exactly.
That's what it does.
So the next thing we're going to do the fun thing. We're going to arrange it.
And this is the easy part.
Exactly. You know, I forgot something, but like I always say, if you forget something, you can always add it. No wahala. This is the garlic, the pureed garlic, which goes very well with Italian dishes.
So is it easier that you have it pureed rather than having the
It's easy because I don't like when I'm cooking, I have to go bit by bit,
Yes.
you know, trying to process it.
So the easier for you, the better.
Exactly. So I usually, you know, do it in batch. I will just remove all the cloves
Yes.
and I will blend it in my blender, you know, to get the pureed garlic. It's so easy. So we're going to leave this and let it simmer.
Let that sit for a while.
Okie dokie. And then we're going to arrange the lasagna. So this is already cooked.
So these are standard noodles for lasagna, I'm
Yes,
assuming.
they are. So we're going to wash our hands and then we can do the fun part. Okay. So I have our plate here. So once again, when you're doing this,
You know what's interesting?
what is?
Well, we're making an Italian dish, and once again, you're dressed in your beautiful African attire.
Thank you.
Yes. And I also noticed while we're cooking that you have a henna tattoo.
Okay, that's another thing. See, I like to explore culture.
Yeah.
Over the week, I think last week, I was just, you know, shopping, and I saw this lady. Her name is Thoria. She was painting hands. I thought it was tattoo. I have never had tattoo. And I said, is that tattoo? She said, no, it's called henna. And I'm like, oh, really? And she said, would you like to try it? And I'm all for culture. And I say, yes. So she painted my hand, and she said, I'm going to give you a little flower. And she said, flower is beautiful. And I'm like, oh, really? I was flattered. So she painted my hand, and I thought it was great. Thank you. So to begin with, when you start assembling your lasagna, the first thing you do is you put some sauce. Yeah, you add some sauce to the pan. Okay, so
you're not putting too much.
You don't put too much, just to, you know, use it as your base. It's like building a house. You need to have the foundation. So I'm going to let you do the honor.
All right. Okay? Since it's easy, I'm going to take care of this part.
It is easy. So the first thing you do, you take this. I do one. And so you take the pasta, and then you add it. So I'm going to let you see how I did it. So I want to see if you can do it. Yes. Okay, just like that. And okay,
can I get this one?
Yeah, and notice how I have the plastic. The reason why I have the plastic is to make sure that the pasta is not stale. You can also use cheesecloth after you cook the pasta, and then you put it, you layer it, so you use the cheesecloth. So
and then you're adding sauce again.
Exactly. So we add the sauce. So as I already said, this is the
So that was the cottage cheese and the Parmesan.
The cottage cheese mixed with Parmesan.
And you said that we can use this as a substitute at home if we don't have ricotta?
Yeah, cheese? If you like ricotta. I like ricotta, but I prefer the cottage cheese, so that's why I use cottage cheese.
So it's all about what you prefer at home.
Exactly. If you like ricotta, I know that in Italy or Italians, they use a lot of ricotta. So you add the sauce, and then you start layering. So can you
I think I've become an expert at layering,
exactly.
so I'm going to layer
wait.
again.
There's something. I knew we were forgetting
we can't forget
something.
The cheese.
No, so we add the Parmesan cheese. It goes very well with the lasagna.
And then the mozzarella cheese.
Exactly. Because this is, mozzarella, but what I did was I took a little bit of Parmesan. When you add Parmesan to the mozzarella, it makes it easy to spray.
So does it make it almost
fluid? Exactly.
It's softer.
Exactly, and it's so easy because when you do mozzarella, sometimes it sticks to the plate, and you don't want that.
No.
So you want it to be easy, and it flows. See how easy it is? So you add this, and then you add...
I wanted to just add a little bit of the cheese for myself.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
I just want to...
Okay, fantastic.
It looked fun when you were doing it.
You know how to do it too. You are now an expert. You've cooked so many dishes. So
yes.
Okay, so we
same process again.
Same process.
Of the
See,
sauce.
I noticed I didn't put so much because we are not cooking for like too many people.
Depends
when you
who you're cooking for.
when you have a big feast, you have layers upon layers. But just to give you an idea how to make lasagna, and this is the final process. So after I put this, I'm going to let you...
Should I try layering it just...
Yeah, so I'm going to let you finish this part. Let's see your handiwork. Okay. No, just be generous. See, we're going to finish it because this is the last.
It's a good word when it comes to food.
Exactly.
Generous.
Yeah, you need to be generous. Okay, so now that we've added all the sauces, we add a little bit of cottage cheese as well.
Mixed in with the...
With the Parmesan.
Yes.
Okay. And then we add the cheese.
The cheese.
Doesn't it look good?
Yes. It's not baked yet, but it looks delicious.
I know. Okay, so now we've added the cheese.
Yes.
And
now, I have a question with the mozzarella cheese. I love mozzarella cheese, and I love cheese in general.
Yes.
So am I free to add my cheddar cheese if I want?
Of course, no wahala.
Okay.
You can always add what is food, as long as it tastes good. You know, that's the fun part.
Oh,
so
will taste good.
Yeah, if you like cheddar cheese or Asiago cheese, you can use it. So now that we've added all our cheeses, so we are going to cover it up and bake it. I normally bake it in my oven for 400 degrees. So you need to check your oven. Okay. So we wrap it up.
Do we preheat it?
Yeah, you can preheat the oven. And if you don't have, it's covered. So we're gonna put it in the oven for 400 degrees. And we have one that is already cooked here for you. So we have the finished product. Are you hungry yet?
Oh my, look how that looks.
So this is what it looks like once it's baked. I'm gonna just move these things out of the way. So we have it, and
that looks
I'll
delicious.
show you how to cut it. You know, there's a trick to cutting lasagna. I know you like tasting it.
You can pretty much guess that. This is my favorite part.
I know.
The eating part.
I'm going to just put it in the center here.
Perfect.
And then you're going to
look at all that lovely cheese. So how long do we cook the lasagna for?
We cook it for 1 to 1.5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So here it is.
So you let it sit in the oven for...
Yeah. So here is the finished product.
About an hour, and then look what you have when you're finished.
Oh, do we have spoon here? I don't think so. So I'm going to just rinse this off for you. I know you want to try it.
You've added some bread to it.
Yes.
It would go well with a salad at home, I'm sure.
Exactly. Normally you eat it with, you know, a different cutlery. But here you go. I need you to try it.
I will certainly do the honors. Grab a cheesy part.
And tell the audience how. Be careful, it's hot. It's really good. Can I take this from you? Thank you very much. Oh, don't choke on my lasagna. All right, so, you know, this is one dish that I don't even have to, you know, I didn't have to go to school to learn how to do it, you know.
You show me how easy it is for you to make it in the comfort of your own home.
Exactly, it's awesome. And I've always said that cultures that eat together, stay together through food. We can appreciate diversity. So keep on watching us.
Exactly. We're going to keep taking you around the world, I should say now. And as we continue to taste and sample savory dishes, I mean, on today's episode, we gave lasagna an African twist. And that was pretty cool.
By using African basil.
Yes. So stay tuned, and we'll definitely have more dishes to come your way. If you have any comments, questions, or feedback, don't hesitate. Please email us at flavorsofafrica@shaw.ca.
Yes, arrivederci, as they would say in Italy.